It's the busiest time of year for house fires. But will one of the lines of defense on your street fail?
Yeah, in December, a fire hydrant in Asheville malfunctioned during an apartment fire. And a News 13 investigation found despite getting high marks from the state, the Asheville Fire Department's not meeting their own goals.
News 13 investigative reporter Jennifer Emmert dug through thousands of records. Jennifer, what did you find?
Well, the city should be doing about 6,600 fire hydrant inspections a year, according to their standard operating procedure. What we uncovered they're doing is far less.
They dot Asheville's landscape every 500 feet. A silent army waiting.
They're critical.
When flames erupt, you want the nearest fire hydrant working.
When we're dispatched, the telecommunicator immediately knows where the closest hydrant is and if one's out of service, and can communicate that information to our firefighters as they're responding.
But it takes thousands of inspections and fire officials sharing information with 911 to know if the hydrant on your street will respond when needed. That said, in December, firefighters didn't know this hydrant at Merrimon and Farrwood was malfunctioning until they turned the wrench.
We backed up and called a hydrant a little further away and then got water supply.
After asking for thousands of inspections and work orders, News 13 found a work order for the hydrant from August that shows the hydrant had been hit. It was replaced, tested, and working according to the water department, but may have been damaged again. What we didn't find was the hydrant's inspection report. However, what I did find was dozens of hydrants out of service.
I had never noticed tape on it, but the fact that it is out concerns me.
Including this one near the downtown condo of Peter Landis.
We've had a couple of times when the fire department's had to come by, not because there's a fire, but there's been false alarm. Somebody's fireplace sending off too much of an exhaust.
When it comes to inspections, Asheville's Fire Department's standard operating procedure calls for
Our goal is to inspect our hydrants twice every year.
An inspection includes
We're making sure that it can open, and we're also making sure that it can flow. We're making sure that the caps are able to come off of the hydrant. And if any of those things are not present, then that's when we either do some minor maintenance ourselves.
Still, News 13's investigation found most hydrants never get a second inspection. Turns out it's a voluntary process that the state doesn't require departments to perform, and in some cases,
we're not able to get to everyone every year.
But when inspections are done, firefighters do find issues. Over the last 2 years, hundreds of hydrants were found damaged, several dozen were leaking, and some were listed as hard to open or close. It falls to the water department to make the needed repairs.
It's put on our work order prioritization list, and we try to get to that as quick as possible. But we need to communicate to all those users, fire department especially, that there may be an out-of-service hydrant.
The water department's target for making repairs are within 10 days of receiving a report. But with 18,700 calls a year, one of the highest per capita in the state, hydrant inspections are a low priority.
Since our water system is so robust, our inspections are a lower priority than training, keeping our firefighters safe, letting our firefighters learn and continue their skills.
It's a high priority for me. I think that, again, if there's going to be a fire, it'd be very helpful if there's a working hydrant nearby.
Fire Chief Burnette points to redundancies built into their system and used at the Westall apartment fire that keeps residents protected.
We hook up to another truck that's on scene and use the onboard water that comes with that truck. That gives us time to find the next closest hydrant.
Now you probably want to know if the fire hydrant sitting in front of your home is working. Well, the city doesn't have a public database. In fact, most of the records we got were on paper. And some of those records were complete, even though they're working on that digital database. So what we found in those numbers were that the city was doing about 20% of the inspections that they should be doing. We asked if they thought that number was higher based on the record we had. They said they thought that it would be higher than that, but they couldn't give us an exact percentage of what they actually do. If you notice damage to a fire hydrant in front of your home, you can report it by using the city's app. In Asheville, Jennifer Emmert, News 13.